Welcome to this edition of Peak Performers Podcast with your host, Thor Conklin. Thor will be sharing the necessary tools, strategies, and psychology you'll need to become a peak performer in any area of your life or business.
Welcome back to another episode of the Peak Performers Podcast. I'm your host, Thor Conklin, and today we have Pat Hiban. He is a co-founder of GoBundance, author of Tribes of Millionaires, successful real estate investor, and podcast host. Pat co-founded GoBundance in an effort to build a quality peer-to-peer group of other successful men who could hold one another accountable to their own highest standards. He chooses to live in a peak state. Since its founding in 2013, the GoBundance tribe has grown to nearly 200 members who connect at seasonal tribal gatherings and international bucket list trips. Pat, welcome to the show, man. I absolutely love what you're doing here. I actually have joined a group what I'm assuming is very similar to yours. And I got to tell you, it is probably some of the best people in the world to be around. So, and I was going through some of the people that have listed not references, but testimonies about the group. I mean, you got Hal Elrod, you got Cameron Harold, Robert from the Shark Tank, Robert Kiyosaki. I mean, these are kick-ass people.
Yeah. Well, we try to be kick-ass people and surround ourselves with kick-ass people. That's the whole premise of the tribe, you know. It goes back to that old Jim Rohn quote, "You are the average of the 5 people you hang around the most."
Absolutely. So what started this? Why did you start it? Where'd the inspiration come from?
Yeah, that's kind of fun. So what happened was about 20 years ago, I was in another mastermind, and I think I'm 53 now, so I was about 31, 32, and it was mostly older people than me, but there was one guy in it that was young like me at the time, and the guy that was running it said, everybody pick a peer partner, pick someone that can hold you accountable to goals that you set during this, during our time together. And so him and I looked at each other and we kind of nodded, did that dude nod, what's up, guy? And then, and that was it. And then a bond was formed and we became peer partners. And for probably a decade, him and I just kept each other accountable to our goals. We'd write down goals and then we'd check in every single day. How did you move towards that goal? And then we met a third guy, Tim Rode, at another event that had retired at the age of 40 and was living off passive income from commercial rentals. And we're like, man, we need to add this guy to our little tribe. And then, after about 5 years of that or so, we said, you know what, we need to invite other people. And then we started inviting other people and it started growing fast. And we were like, we should monetize this. We should make money off of this because we're putting a lot of time and effort into planning these trips and then, just charging everybody their fair share. And it became, more of a project, more of a job for us. So we said, okay, let's start, charging people. And then we started charging people and making it official. And now it's, we're well over 200 members and we're doing some incredible things.
Interesting. So how many trips are there a year?
So we have, about 5 a year. They're different. Like we just took 27 guys. Imagine this. I still can't believe 27 guys to Japan and just did wild stuff in Japan together. And then we're going, and we have a couples trip where we bring wives. We're getting ready to go to Cuba with our wives. And then we have we have 2 yearly events that are national. One's in Colorado in January and one's in Austin, Texas in August every year. So generally somewhere between 5 and 6. Oh, and then we have a family trip to Greece this year where everyone brings their kids over Thanksgiving. So we do stuff like that and try to involve the families and the wives as well as have, just dude time where we're skiing and playing hockey and playing, ultimate frisbee and doing stuff like that. And then bringing in speakers like Kiyosaki and Cameron Harold and people like that. So that's kind of how we roll.
So give us a breakout of what does a normal trip look like? Is it half skiing, half?
Yeah. So we like all day we do fun stuff, outdoor stuff. And then at night we mastermind. So generally we start masterminding at 4:00 and we go to 11 or midnight. And it's a full day, but it works really well. It works really well. And those are the two events that we have that are guys only events. And those are the ones with the most content. We bring in, we could bring in 3 or 4 speakers in one night, and we just power pack it from 4 to midnight. And then we get up and go skiing the next day, or snowmobiling, or, driving cars on ice, or whatever it is. You have like 10 different things you could choose from every day. And then you shower up and you get ready to go and learn and network all night.
Interesting. So what's the ideal client for this?
Ideal client is a millionaire or better. And that's really it. We just opened a women's division. We have 42 women already. This is its first year. And again, it's women only because we find that, when women are together with just them, they tend to be a lot more authentic, and there's a certain comfort level and growth that can happen when it's just one sex. And then we do this, and that's why we started out with guys like that. So can be nowadays, it can be man or woman. Minimum requirement is you're an accredited investor, let's say. So you have $1 million net worth outside of your primary residence, and or are making, 3-4 hundo a year.
Okay. And, all right. So you're accredited investor making $400,000 a year. You don't really,
I think it's 250, but
yeah.
3, whatever it is. Yeah.
The federal guidelines are 250, but as we know, really can't do too much on 250 nowadays.
Yeah, I know. Well, like we had, the whole concept of Tribe of Millionaires really wasn't ours. We had, Dan Clements is a ghostwriter, writes for Success Magazine, and he's written a lot of books you've probably heard of. And we paid him to come to Japan with us with the 27 guys. And he hung out in Japan with us. And, he created the term Tribe of Millionaires. And we tried to change it a couple of times because it seemed kind of braggadocious in a sense. And he was like, no, you got to stick with it. Trust me. So we stuck with that. And he wrote this incredible fable that basically is a fictional story, but it's based in nonfiction. So it's based on the 27 guys that he was in Japan with and their lives after he interviewed them all. And it just turned out phenomenal. And of course we had input, throughout the way. It took close to a year to create, but it's an amazing project.
And so what is the process? There's an application. You have to be.
Yep. You just go online, GoBundance.com. And what we're doing today is we are, the book, we're giving it away free. Like if you can go to Amazon and buy it for $19.99 plus shipping if you want. But we have a funnel that explains GoBundance a little bit, and that is tribeofmillionaires.com. So if you go to tribeofmillionaires.com, you can get the book absolutely free. So we're giving a paperback book, not a cheesy digital version, right? This is a real book. The paperback book, it's called Tribe of Millionaires, and all you got to do is pay the shipping and handling. It's $7. We've had close to 500 in the first week of free books ordered already. So it's hot.
And the Tribe of Millionaires, is that the fable that was created from the 27?
Yeah, that's what Dan created. So basically what it is a story of this guy, and he loses touch with his father. Him and his father have a bad relationship, and 25 years goes by, and his dad dies, and they contact him and be like, hey, you're his son. You need to come to his funeral and talk about the estate. And he has this vision in the mind of his dad of being this deadbeat. And when he gets there, his 6 pallbearers are these 6 dudes that are like billionaires and multimillionaires. And, he's looking at them getting out of limousines, and he's looking at them, he's talking to them, and they run these huge businesses. And he's like, holy dirt, I thought my dad was a deadbeat. How did he know all these people? And they're like, your dad was our mentor. Your dad taught us everything we knew. And they said, before we can unleash your estate or go over your estate, part of your dad's wishes is that you spend a week with us. So he goes to a private island that they own, and they hang out for a week on this private island with 27 guys, or a whole bunch of these Tribe of Millionaires. And he learned 6 crucial, lessons during that week with these guys. And that's the premise of the book. I won't give away any more, but that's kind of how it came up, how it got written.
And that's the 6 steps to 7 figures.
No, that's 6 Steps to 7 Figures was a book I wrote back in 2011 by myself. Yeah. This is called Tribe of Millionaires. Yeah.
Love it. All right. As you can see, part of the best part about being a podcast host is that, I'm learning things along the way. I'm writing notes to the team. Please get me the,
yeah, go to tribeofmillionaires.com and get a free one. And
I love it.
Yeah.
Very much. And then what's the annual cost for if you are accepted into the group?
It's annual cost runs around $7,000. We have also a division called Champions Division, where if you have a net worth of $5 million or more, or make $1 million a year, and that is currently, I believe, $12,000 a year. That's $1,000 a month. But the main GoBundance, which the majority of our members, I think we have about 25 champions. So we have, let's just say, 175 millionaires, and that runs about $7,000, or you could put it in monthly payments.
What's $7,000?
Yeah, roughly $500, $600 a month.
What's been the greatest moment of being part of this group and assembling this group? Because I have several groups that I'm part of that I can think of, and each one of them, you join for one reason. I'm a member of EO, Entrepreneurs Organization. You got to be running $1 million business.
Mm-hmm.
This other business is very similar to yours, and it's funny because I joined these organizations for one thing, but I got so much more out of it, and I got things that I really was not looking. Not that I wasn't looking for them, but the benefits that I wasn't focused on were actually the ones that were the most important. What are some of the things that came about that, it's like, this would be cool to do, and then it's like, wow, I got this as well?
Yeah. That's a cool question, because everybody gets something different out of it. But I think the number one, the reason that because we do surveys and we talk to our members, and the reason that people retain and stay with us is the authenticity that's created. Like lifelong bonds are created. It's not one of these groups where, we dress up and go out and fancy stuff. And, it's very down to earth, very raw conversations. We have conversations about our relationships, conversations about health, conversations about, giving back to the community, as many different aspects. We have 6 pillars that we focus on. And one of our greatest strengths is that everyone likes to focus on our, the number one pillar, which is what we call horizontal income. And what horizontal income is that pays you sideways. So a very simple form of horizontal income would be a piece of real estate that pays you rent that you make money on. The goal is to obviously have as many of those lines as you want. David Osborne, who was the guy I met 20 years ago at this other and helped, and then we created this together, has close to 300 of these now that pay him sideways. So he'll never have to work again. I've got 54 horizontal lines of income, which is, and my point is that through this group is actually how I found probably 10 of them in the last 3 years. I just bought a church with one of our members that he's turning into like a WeWorks. Long story. I just invested in an Airbnb for people staying in hospitals across from a hospital in Philadelphia. I just invested in an RV park in Newport Richey, Florida, all from members of GoBundance. So, we have a pretty aggressive deal flow where everybody is sharing their deals and sharing what they're involved in and what they're doing. And I've gotten a lot out of that personally, but everybody gets something different out of it. Some people go into this, already rich. One of our members, Daniel Ramsey, runs a company called My Outdesk. They have over 1,000 employees. He would tell you his biggest thing is, that Tim Rode, the third guy that David and I hooked up with, looked over his whole situation, his whole, what we call the one sheet, which is like a baseball card showing, what your stats are and everything, and found that he was lacking in giving back to the community, and called him out on it. And since then, he took over a local wrestling team that was like the worst in the county, and he won the championship last year after 4 years of coaching this wrestling team, just because he wanted to do something to give back. He didn't know anybody at the school. He didn't know anything. He just went in and said, you guys have a shitty wrestling team. Let me, and I heard you need a coach. Let me take over. And he used to wrestle and do it. And there's tons of stories like that, whether it be health. One of our guys, Dan Grebe, he's lost 125 pounds. Now he runs marathons and actually triathlons. He just ran like his 4th triathlon since he joined GoBundance. Story after story of people that have just transformed themselves, in many different ways.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've been a member of EO now for 9 years, and we formed little groups that are called forums. And a few years ago, unfortunately, we had one of our members pass away.
Wow.
Yeah, very, very unexpectedly from skin cancer. Horrible. Talk about a wake-up call to everybody in the group. If something doesn't look good on your skin, get it checked out. It's a very aggressive cancer. And this forum mates were asked to be the pallbearers. I mean, here's we've been with him obviously for the last 4 or 5 years, but it was that close that, his business, meeting partners, that's how much of an impact. And when you form these kind of groups, the ties and the connections go extremely deep, and the bonds formed are many times formed for a lifetime. So
I can see that. It's totally why we made that the fable.
Yeah, that's
and we do the same thing. We call them Go Pods. We limit it to four people, 5 at the most. And it's all organized and set up and basically there to keep you accountable to your goals.
Yeah. Since my kids were little, they're grown now. They kind of joke about it because I kind of drilled into their heads since they were just little teeny kids. I said, one day you're going to go out there and you're going to create it, get a job, or you're going to create your own business. But just remember, okay, your job will give you, will provide you a living, but it's your Rolodex that will provide you a fortune. And they're like, Dad, what's a Rolodex? I'm like, all right, I think I might be dating myself here a little bit, but it truly is. The people that you hang around, you do become like their expectations. You either grow towards that or shrink towards it. And there's nothing greater than being surrounded by people that are playing at the highest level, because it just brings everything else up.
Yeah, it works. Bottom line, it works.
It really does. Anytime I'm the smartest one in the room, I got to get out of the room.
Yeah.
It's like I got to find another room, and you constantly got to be changing that. So what's next with the group?
Wow, what's next with the group? We're expanding. We just expanded to women, which was a big deal. And that's GoBundanceWomen.com. That's easy. are just kind of how we grow and how we're doing things. And, we have our own proprietary app now where it's like a goal tracking app where you can keep your goals on there, and you can see your goals and you can see your updates, and and your people in your GoPod can see it, but also the other 200 members can see it as well. And they can text you and be like, hey, how you doing with this one, or how you doing with this goal? And it's all about accountability, right? It's kind of like if you want to lose weight and you don't tell anybody, then you're probably going to fail, But if you go and tell everybody that that you're on a diet, providing you haven't been on like 12 before, that's accountability. So when you put it in our proprietary app, in our GoBundance app, and you let everybody know this is what you're doing, and you got 200 people that are keeping you accountable. We've also been using this neat app called Spar. It's not our app, but it's an outside app. It's called Spar, and what you do is so we change the Spar every month. But like last month, we had random act of kindness. So we had about 30 members in this Spar, and what happens is you have to do a random act of kindness during the day, and you have to film yourself talking about it during the day for 30 days straight every day. So it has to be like, I bought this person's coffee, or I, helped this person do this, or, this guy was trying to move a piano in his house by himself, and I stopped my car and got out and helped him move it in, whatever, just a random act of kindness every day. And then if you don't check in, it charges you $25. And so literally you could lose $750 over 30 days if you never check in. And we're doing that. We did meditating, we did yoga, we did journaling, random act of kindness, green smoothie, anything you could think of, right, that you want to do on a daily basis. We'll do it, and we'll put it on the Spar and say, okay, everyone drink a green smoothie a day for 30 days to try to get in the habit. And then it keeps you accountable because there's money involved, and it's kind of fun too because you can watch everybody else's video of, man, I had a kale and peach smoothie. It was terrible, and whatever.
That's great. So each, even if it's the smoothies, it's $25 a day if you don't do the smoothie.
Yeah, if you don't check in.
I love it. That's what, $750.
It could be $750 if you never open up the app.
Just for 1 month.
Yeah, for one. It only goes 30 days. Yeah, because people tend to get tired. They're like, people are ADD. They want to change the challenge.
Right, but the next one starts in 30 days.
Yeah, and then we'll do something different.
This could be like $9,000 for the year if you don't open it for a year.
I have an upper level. My GoPod that I'm in is 5 guys, and they're, it's pretty high level. And we decided to do one just with the 4 of us, and we made it $500 a miss. And that was intense because 2 guys missed twice. 2 guys had to pay $1,000. I missed once. That was $500. So, and then what happens is Spar takes 10% off the top, and then whoever checks in, without fail, splits the what's left in the pot. The 90% of the pot that's left after Spar takes their 10%. So, so the one dude got like over $2,000. Because he did what he said he was going to do for 30 days.
It works. It really does work. When I had a goal last year. Every year I have a difficult physical challenge, and last year I was going to run an Ironman. So I went out, told everybody on social media, this is what I'm going to do. I had no choice but to do it. There wasn't any money involved, and I actually ended up doing 2 of them. This year I'm doing a bodybuilding competition, and 5,000 of my closest friends on Facebook know that I'm going to be doing it. And I got to do it. I mean, it's just no backing down. Accountability works. It's funny. I have a client that wants to lose weight, and he wrote me a check to a political party that he does not like. And he gave it to me and said, if I don't get to this number by the end of the year, I want you to send this check in. I said, that's no problem. I said, before I send the check in, I'm actually going to post it on Facebook and show everyone who you wrote the check to. And his face kind of went, white and said, no, that can't happen. I said, I know it's not going to happen, because what are you going to do? You're going to do what you said you're going to do. This is within your control.
Yeah, I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was all cool, until it's like, wait a second, my friend.
Yeah, right. It's all cool when it's anonymous donation, but when everybody knows that you did that.
That's right. Well, Pat, I really appreciate you coming on. Look, if you're a high performer out there and you need to get around people that are going to push you, Pat, man, you've put together an incredible organization. This is not just about the trips. This is about daily accountability. This is getting around people that are succeeding at the highest level. And, it's interesting because I get this question all the time from my client base is very similar to who you're serving. 70% of our clients earn $1 million or more in personal income. 20% earn in excess of 10 million. And folks that are not there yet always ask the question, is like, what are those clients doing that I'm not doing? And there's no magic. They're just doing the simple things every single day, and they've put themselves around people that are working and playing at a level above them. And I love what you're doing here. Check out GoBundance. I appreciate it. Yeah,
the tribeofmillionaires.com, guys. We got 1,000 books we put in a warehouse. We've already, in the first week, we've given out 300, and then that's going to be it. So, if you want to get one of those other books, go to tribeofmillionaires.com for free. Just pay the shipping.
Terrific. I'm getting my copy.
There you go.
Have a great day.
Thank you, Thor. Thanks for having me.